Those identical bags are found in ancient Sumer in the hands of individuals who were considered to be civilization bringers.
The handbag-like carvings can be found in ancient carvings worldwide.
The same handbag appears carved into ancient monuments across 3 continents: Turkey from 11,000 years ago, Iraq from 3,000 years ago, and Mexico from 2,500 years ago. These civilizations never contacted each other, yet they carved identical objects with perfect precision. Graham Hancock discovered these bags contained survival technology designed for cosmic catastrophes that strike every 12,000 years. The last catastrophe was exactly 12,000 years ago. That discovery has been haunting Graham Hancock for months. How could 3 ancient civilizations, separated by vast oceans and thousands of years, create identical symbols with such precision? The implications of what he found inside those carved handbags goes far beyond anything mainstream archaeology is willing to accept. Hancock wasn't looking for a global conspiracy when he first examined the handbag symbols at Göbekli Tepe. But as he traced similar carvings across continents, a disturbing pattern emerged. Each site where these symbols appeared had something else in common. They were all built immediately after catastrophic events that nearly wiped out human civilization. The handbag wasn't just a religious symbol or decorative motif. According to Hancock's analysis, it was a precise blueprint, a survival manual carved in stone by people who knew that cosmic catastrophes follow predictable cycles, and they were leaving instructions for whoever came next. What Hancock discovered inside these ancient containers challenges everything we think we know about human history. But more terrifying than the technology itself is the timing, because if his calculations are correct, humanity is about to face the same cosmic forces that destroyed those previous civilizations, and we're completely unprepared. Deep in the mountains of southeastern Turkey, archaeologists uncovered Göbekli Tepe in the 1990s. The site completely overturned scientific understanding of early human development. Massive stone pillars, some weighing 16 tons, arranged in perfect circles with astronomical precision. Carbon dating placed the construction at 11,500 years ago, making it older than Stonehenge by 7 millennia. But carved into Pillar 43 at this impossible ancient site, positioned prominently at the top like some kind of signature, 3 identical handbag symbols stare down at visitors. Precise rectangular shapes topped with curved handles, carved with the same skill and attention as the complex animal reliefs covering the rest of the monument. The builders of Göbekli Tepe possessed knowledge that supposedly wouldn't exist for thousands more years. Advanced understanding of astronomy, sacred geometry, precision stone cutting. Knowledge that appears suddenly in the archaeological record, fully formed, with no evidence of gradual development leading up to it. Move 3,000 miles east to ancient Mesopotamia, and something even stranger emerges. Assyrian palace reliefs from the 9th century BCE show winged beings called Apkallu holding identical objects. Not similar objects that might have developed independently, but exact matches down to the proportions and positioning. Ancient Sumerian texts describe these Apkallu as wise ones who emerged from the sea after a great flood. According to the historical accounts, these beings appeared specifically to teach devastated human survivors how to rebuild civilization. Agriculture, writing, law, astronomy, architecture, all the fundamental technologies that transform hunter-gatherers into advanced societies. Cross the Atlantic Ocean to Mesoamerica, and the pattern becomes undeniable. Olmec stone monuments dating to 1200 BCE feature their gods holding the same handbag objects, exact replicas of what appears at Göbekli Tepe and in Assyrian art. The Olmec civilization supposedly had no contact with Old World cultures, Yet their most sacred carvings show divine figures carrying identical symbols. 3 separate civilizations, spanning 7,000 years and 3 continents, all chose to immortalize the same specific object in their most important religious monuments. Mainstream archaeology explains this as coincidence or independent invention of similar practical objects. Hancock believes something far more significant is being documented in stone. Archaeological analysis reveals a disturbing pattern connecting all these sites. Each location shows evidence of advanced knowledge appearing suddenly after periods of catastrophic disruption. Göbekli Tepe was built immediately following the Younger Dryas climate catastrophe. Mesopotamian civilization emerged from the aftermath of massive flooding. Mesoamerican cultures developed from earlier societies that had experienced severe environmental collapse. The handbag symbols consistently appear in the hands of figures described as teachers and civilization builders, beings who possessed complete knowledge systems and transmitted them to surviving human populations. The objects weren't decorative or ceremonial. They were functional containers holding something essential for rebuilding society. Akkadian inscriptions provide crucial clues about the true nature of these containers. The ancient terms bandudu and mulilu don't simply mean bucket and purifier. More accurate translations reveal life container and renewer or restorer. These weren't religious artifacts. They were survival technology designed to preserve essential materials through catastrophic events. Recent analysis of preservation techniques used by ancient cultures shows sophisticated methods for storing viable genetic material across millennia. Seeds that could germinate after thousands of years, concentrated medicines that remained potent across centuries, astronomical data encoded in durable formats. The handbag containers held everything necessary to restart technological civilization from zero. But Hancock's research reveals something terrifying about the timing of these events. The catastrophic cycles that destroyed previous civilizations follow precise astronomical patterns. Every 12,000 years, Earth experiences cosmic events that reset advanced societies back to survival mode. Magnetic pole reversals, solar outbursts, climate chaos, possible asteroid impacts. Göbekli Tepe was deliberately buried around 8000 BCE, thousands of tons of earth carefully placed to preserve the site. The builders knew exactly what was coming and took extraordinary measures to protect their knowledge for future discovery. They understood the cyclical nature of cosmic catastrophes and prepared accordingly. Geological evidence supports this 12,000-year pattern. Ice core data shows regular climate disruptions matching the timeline. Magnetic field measurements reveal accelerating pole shifts occurring on schedule. Solar activity patterns indicate building energy that could overwhelm technological infrastructure. Most disturbing of all, modern civilization sits exactly 12,000 years after the last reset. The Younger Dryas period ended in 9700 BCE, marking the beginning of our current interglacial period. Every astronomical indicator that preceded the last catastrophe is building again right now. But this cycle presents unprecedented dangers that previous resets never faced. Earlier civilizations worked within natural systems and prepared for cosmic events as inevitable parts of larger patterns. Modern society has created technological hazards that will amplify natural catastrophes beyond anything the planet has experienced. Hundreds of nuclear power plants designed to fail safely during normal grid disruptions will become uncontrolled radiation sources during magnetic pole reversals. Chemical facilities storing millions of tons of toxic materials will leak when infrastructure collapses. Weapon systems that require constant maintenance to remain stable will become unpredictable during social breakdown. Previous civilizations faced natural resets and survived by understanding cosmic cycles. Modern civilization faces natural resets amplified by artificial dangers that could make recovery impossible. The survival protocols contained in those ancient handbag symbols weren't designed to handle planetary poisoning on this scale. Hancock's astronomical calculations, based on monuments like Göbekli Tepe that function as cosmic calendars, point to a convergence window between 2030 and 2040. Multiple catastrophic cycles aligning simultaneously for the first time in recorded history, the magnetic pole shift accelerating beyond predicted timelines, solar maximum approaching peak intensity, climate systems destabilizing faster than models anticipated. Archaeological evidence shows that the handbag symbols mark specific locations where civilization was successfully rebuilt after the last catastrophic reset. Göbekli Tepe, Mesopotamian sites, Mesoamerican temples, these weren't random locations for ancient monuments. They were designated recovery zones where survivors established knowledge transfer operations. The containers held complete instructions for dragging humanity back from Stone Age subsistence to technological civilization, preserved genetic material for agriculture that could grow in damaged soil, concentrated pharmaceuticals for treating radiation exposure and epidemic diseases, mathematical principles for rebuilding infrastructure, astronomical data for predicting future cosmic events. But the most terrifying discovery in Hancock's research is what these survival protocols reveal about the current reset cycle. The ancient recovery systems were designed for natural catastrophes that left basic planetary systems intact. Clean water sources, fertile soil, stable ecosystems, predictable weather patterns. Modern industrial civilization has systematically destroyed every natural system the ancient protocols depended on. Groundwater contaminated with industrial chemicals that persist for centuries. Topsoil depleted of essential nutrients and loaded with synthetic compounds. Atmospheric composition altered beyond historical precedent. Ocean chemistry changed by pollution and acidification. The handbag symbols weren't just marking ancient recovery sites, they were marking future recovery sites, locations where civilization could be rebuilt after the next inevitable reset. But the builders of those recovery protocols couldn't anticipate a species that would poison its own planet while developing technology designed for mutual destruction. Graham Hancock calls this his final warning because astronomical evidence suggests this might be the last reset cycle that any human civilization experiences. Previous iterations survived cosmic catastrophes and rebuilt using knowledge preserved in those ancient containers. This iteration has created conditions that make survival impossible even with perfect preparation. The handbag symbols appear on monuments across the globe as instructions left by the survivors of the last reset, intended for the survivors of the next reset. But the current reset might not produce any survivors capable of following those instructions. Archaeological sites containing the handbag symbols are scattered across continents, marking the locations where previous civilizations successfully restarted after cosmic catastrophes. The knowledge preserved in those containers enabled humanity to rebuild from complete collapse multiple times throughout history. The terrifying truth about the handbags of the gods is that modern civilization has ignored every warning carved in stone by previous survivors. The cosmic clock that destroyed advanced societies 12,000 years ago is approaching completion again, but this time humanity has created technological and environmental conditions that the ancient survival protocols cannot overcome. Hancock's final warning is devastatingly simple. The handbag symbols mark the spots where civilization was meant to restart after the next reset. The containers held everything necessary to preserve human knowledge through cosmic catastrophe. But the current reset cycle might be the first one that no human civilization survives to complete. The ancient markers are still there, carved in stone, waiting for survivors who might never come. The handbags of the gods were designed to save humanity from cosmic destruction. Instead, they might become monuments to the species that destroyed itself while ignoring its own survival instructions.